Do you catch yourself worrying about something over and over again, and then you say to yourself, I don't need to worry about this. This is out of my control. I don't want to feel this continually worry. But then the split second right after that, you catch yourself again worrying about the same thing. This is something that happens within the levels of our consciousness. These patterns continually exist. Either it is self-judgment, these patterns of self-judgment that we're essentially self-judging ourselves about different scenarios. We think about the scenario within our mind, we play it out, and then we catch ourselves thinking, why am I judging myself? I don't want to do that anymore. And then another minute goes by and you're distracted. And then all of a sudden you're self-judging yourself again, or you're worrying about this or that again. This is all the process of us mastering our thoughts and our mental awareness. As the saying goes about mastering your thoughts, becoming more aware of your patterns and so on. An undisciplined mind, for example, is like an open door for distraction. The more that we essentially just leave the barn doors wide open and we're continually in a space of, say, fear, worry, stress, and so on, the patterns that we do those things through get ingrained within our awareness and our subconscious mind. And so they can continually come back up, even though we catch ourselves at 1 minute, the next minute, the pattern is there and is trying to replay itself. Because it's taken us maybe months, years of sometimes being in these patterns of self-judgment, fear, worry, and so on. We've ingrained these patterns within our subconscious mind. And so in order to rewrite these patterns, it's not something that is going to change with one simple thought. It's not something that's going to change in one day. It's going to take repetitive pattern of you catching yourself, judging yourself again in that old pattern, rewriting that, clear that actual judgment or that fear or that worry, then say no, and then focus on something different. It's going to take consecutive, repetitive action of you catching yourself and saying no, and then rewriting the pattern over and over and over again for a period of not just days, but weeks. As some people say, it takes approximately 21 days to change a habit. To say if you were going to quit smoking, for example, it takes approximately 21 days, according to some experts and everything else, to really change the pattern of the addiction to where you're not feeling addicted to having a cigarette. And there's a lot of different factors that, of course, that play into having being addicted to cigarettes or alcohol and so on. But the main thing is it's the repetition of, say, a certain time of the day, of, say, right after you eat food, that you have a cigarette or you have a certain drink and so on. So at that same time the next day, that pattern comes up. You're like, oh, well, I'm supposed to go outside and smoke a cigarette now. Or I'm supposed to have this drink now because I've been doing this now for years. In the same way, the same thing happens with our mental mind and the patterns. And in order to us to truly step more into our mastery of our mental mind, it takes repetition. It takes rewriting the patterns of all of these disempowering things that we've been holding against ourselves, to focus on more, say, healthy patterns of self-recognition, self-affirmations, things that have to do with more abundance instead of lack, that have to do with more love instead of fear, and so on. It's a matter of us truly reprogramming ourselves, just like if it was a computer. We need to clear out the old programs and install new programs and new processors that process things in different ways. Yes, we can do this. You do have the power to do this. Everyone does. It's just a matter of doing it. That is the key. You don't have to sit in an empty space with no noise in order to focus on this at a specific time, even though that may help to some degree. But the main thing is to integrate these things in our daily lives as we're walking down the street, as we're driving our car. We're not following it into the same pattern of worrying about the same thing or thinking about the same things over and over again that essentially keep us in a disempowered state. It's up to us to change these patterns. Therefore, we're living more of a vibrant, say, happier life because we're focusing on things that naturally give us joy and happiness. We're not focusing on patterns of fear, worry, and so on that, of course, have nothing to do with happiness or joy. This is a thing that's, of course, a topic that has been talked about, and books have been written. Probably thousands of books have been written about this topic. But the main thing is that it's a matter of us truly going from, as I have described in classes and workshops and stuff, it's moving from our being and our consciousness just free-flowing without any boundaries, essentially going on autopilot, free-flowing, to more moving things into manual mode, to where you manually are able to process and keep track of what's going through your mind, being able to perceive things and be able to clear thoughts from your awareness if they are not to your benefit any longer. So it's a matter of us becoming and stepping more into our power. Everything, all these videos, they all link and they all come down to us stepping more into our power, stepping more into our true creator selves, and seeing how and what we are creating through what we are focusing on.